Welcome. Welcome to Yoga to Go from CATV in Vermont with Richard and Anita, two beautiful yogis. So at home, find a comfortable seat. We're all very comfortable seated here. And preparing to inhale for Om. We may have a visitor who will wander through from time to time. Inhaling for Om. And taking the space to create an offering or intention for the practice. And drawing the palms to prayer at heart center. On the inhalation, sweeping them wide and overhead, offering it up to that which you hold higher. And exhaling back home to the light. And finding your way to your hands and knees. Palms under the shoulders, knees and feet, hip width apart. Curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. Perhaps bring a bit of movement, bending one knee, then the other. Maybe moving the hips, shoulders. And settling into the stillness for 5 breaths. Drawing the energy upward through the center of the palms. Spirals, drawing the shoulder blades down the back away from the spine, with the navel lifted and quadriceps engaged. Exhale to the knees to extended child's pose for 2 breaths. And inhaling to the hands and knees, lifting the right arm and left leg. So with the gaze down, extending out through the right heel. Maybe an inward spiral. Engaging the core without any tension. The hips square and even. And exhale, releasing to the mat. Inhale, lifting the left arm and right leg. So extended from fingertip to heel, with no tension or tightness, the fingers, wrists. Extended just enough for the full stretch. But not so much to bring any tension into the body. Looking to release all tension from the body. Exhale, releasing to the mat, preparing for the flow. Inhale, lifting the right arm and left leg. On the exhalation, hand to navel, knee to nose. And on the inhalation, expanding gaze outward. In time with your own breath. Maybe deepening the breath, slowing the movement. Whatever feels true within. That truth, eternal, whether on the mat or in the course of our own day, often called intuition. This next expansion, bending into the left knee, right hand to left ankle, gazing over the right shoulder. You're welcome to deepen the pose a bit by pressing the ankle into the hand, the thigh parallel to the floor, without creating any discomfort in the hip. Inhale, extending for 2 breaths. So from heel to fingertip, gentle lift through the core. Exhale, releasing to the mat. Inhale, lifting the left arm and right leg. Still pressing out through the heel to the flow. Exhale, drawing it to center, maybe knee to nose. Inhale, expand. Each contraction, fingers, wrists curl. And inhale, once again. Perhaps as you contract, receiving the grace. And on the extension, offering up your gratitude for this precious moment, this precious life. The next expansion, bending into the right knee, left hand to right ankle, gazing over the shoulder, keeping the hips square, the breath even. And inhale, extend for 2 breaths. Exhale, releasing it to the mat to clockwise hip circles. So you're focused to the tailbone, circles expanding wider around the knees. Circular in-breath, out-breath, aligned with the rotation. And gently releasing into the opposite direction. And coming back to center, curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. Inhale, lifting the right leg extended. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, expand. Inhale, forward to high lunge. So toes align with the fingertips, lifting the arms, the gaze, allowing the shoulder blades to roll down the back as the chest expands. The right toes relax, lifted through the arch. Exhale, rotating to warrior 2. So hips, shoulders now parallel to the mat. Maybe adjusting the feet, front foot aligned with back arch, gazing over the middle finger. The physical adjustments falling away, perhaps, allowing the mental stillness to pervade the pose of warrior 2. And inhale, lifted to reverse warrior. So the right arm lifts with the left hand down the back leg, keeping that deep bend in the front right knee. And exhaling to side angle pose. Although the elbow comes to the knee, the weight doesn't transfer from elbow to knee. So firmly pressing through the back foot, maybe gazing up to the left palm, if the head and neck are comfortable with that. So on the exhale, we'll rotate on the ball of the left foot, palms to either side of the front foot to low lunge for a breath or 2. Gaze out, pressing out through the back heel. And the next inhale, pressing back to down dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Rolling it out to plank pose. Retaining that lift through the center of the palms, the gaze down, core lifted. And slowly to Chaturanga, body suspended by palms and toes, simplified to the palms and knees. And rolling it out to the tops of the feet to up dog or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, lifting the left leg extended. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, expand. Inhale, stepping forward and rising to high lunge. If at any point in the practice you feel strained, you're welcome to come back to extended child's pose, reconnecting with the breath. The even and easeful breath, important to the whole practice. And exhaling out to Warrior Two pose. As we draw that lift upward through both arches, through the legs, the core, the spine a bit taller, head lifted. As we began in our seated pose, head and neck tall, head seemingly suspended from a string lifted upward. And inhale to reverse warrior pose. Still deeply bent in the front left knee. Exhaling out to side angle. Doing your best to keep the weight even through the back foot. As that weight evenly distributed, extending out through the right fingertips. With the shoulder blade still down the back. On the exhale, rotating on the ball of the back foot, palms to either side for low lunge for a breath or two. So the gaze outward, back leg energized, evenly balanced between the two palms and feet. Inhale, pressing the left leg back to down dog. And bring it out to plank pose, to Chaturanga, four-limb staff. Rolling it out to the tops of the feet to up dog. And curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog for 5 breaths. Exhaling to the knees and extended child's pose for 2 breaths. Inhale, sitting up on the heels, coming to eagle arms. perhaps the right arm over left once or twice. You're welcome to use a strap at home if you like. Lifting the gaze, the elbows, the heart. Maybe a bit more grounding through the forelegs and to the mat. A comfortable stretch through the front of the throat. And the exhalation, drawing it to center for vertical cat. So chin to chest, elbows to navel, navel to spine. Experiencing the subtle cat-cow as you breathe. Hatha yoga, moving from the gross to the subtle and beyond. And the inhalation, lifting the torso, the elbows, left foot forward to low lunge variation. So now incorporating the stretch through the right front quadricep as well as the shoulders. And to a twist. So unwinding, right palm to the mat in line with the left foot. Inhale, lifted through the left arm and gaze to follow. You can simplify keeping the right knee grounded or lifted. For those of you at home, being sure the weight is even through that left foot from inside to out, maybe bumping it out, but the knee in line with the ankle. And the next inhalation to reverse half moon, so lifting the right leg. If you're at home and have a block, you're welcome to place the right hand to a block. Two more breaths. And on the exhalation, we'll come to a seated twist. So right knee to the outside of the left foot. Inhale tall through the right arm. Exhale, rotating to your left. If you're at home, you're welcome to straighten the right leg. To simplify, so the weight should be even through both sit bones. They're equally grounded, finding that lift, that extension up the spine. And the breath deepening the pose, not muscular contraction. And preparing for another twist, inhale forward, taking the right hand to the outside of the left foot. As you inhale, extending the left leg, and exhale, rotating to the left. Inhale, coming forward, crossing the wrists, so left hand to the inside of the left foot. And maybe not, bringing the chin to the shin, it's all good. And as you release to half boat pose. You can simplify by either bending the knee or bringing the palms to the mat slightly behind the hips. One more inhale. And to release, swinging the left leg behind, curling the right toes under, back to down dog. And we'll take 5 breaths. So finding the restorative aspect of Adho Mukha Svanasana. As you extend out through the navel, the tailbone taking weight out of the wrists. Exhale, releasing to the knees to extended child's pose for 2 breaths. Inhale, sitting up on the heels to eagle on the other side. So left over right. If the hands don't grab one another, you're welcome to use a strap or even a tie at home. So coming to that place, a delicate place between effort and effortlessness. Grounded through the forelegs, lifted, extended through the heart. And exhale to vertical cat, drawing it all to center. On the next inhalation, to rise, right foot forward to the low lunge variation. Knee ankle align, hips forward enough to benefit through that left quadricep stretch. And the exhale, unwinding for the twist. Left palm to the mat, right hand lifted. The knee grounded to simplify, or lifted for a bit more challenge. And the next inhalation, bumping it out to half rotated, half move. Maybe to the palm, maybe to the fingertips. And preparing for a seated twist, left knee coming to the outside of the right foot. With both sit bones grounded, inhaling tall through the left arm and exhale, rotating to the right. The right foot grounded. So as you gently press through the right foot, maybe adding a bit more length through the spine. So we're not using it to force the rotation, but lengthen more upward. The deeper breath takes care of the twist. It's a surrender that deepens the pose, the practice. At first on the mat. In the Bhagavad Gita, they talk about not entitled to the fruit, only taking responsibility for the action, the next right thing. And the inhalation, forward to half boat pose. The twist. Let's take the twist. So both sit bones grounded. Creating space between palm to palm, from root to crown. Inhale, forward, crossing the wrists. Maybe the chin to shin, doing your best to keep the shoulders away from the ears. And releasing to half boat pose. So the gaze lifted. The shoulder blades back to lift the heart. And bring the palms to the top of the mat, right leg to the back, and to down dog. Coming out to plank pose for a few breaths. And to knees, chest, and chin, or 8 points. So the toes curled under, hips lifted, elbows into the body. And rolling it out to low cobra or Bhujangasana. With the lower body grounded, tops of the feet, thighs pressing firmly into the mat. Bringing lightness. For those of you at home, the palms at least under the shoulders, maybe a bit farther back if you like. The breath expanding all the way out through the collarbone. 2 more breaths. And exhale, releasing head to one side, arms alongside the body. Attention to the gentle rise and fall of your belly on the mat. Preparing for half locust pose, the chin to the mat, arms under the body. So if somebody were standing over you, they'd barely see the elbows. Inhale, extending out and up through the right leg. Outwardly, a seemingly easy pose. But the magic from this pose, half locust coming from that full extension, which isn't a lot of effort because the rest of our body is fully supported. But then deepening into that relaxation as the rest of the body held. And slowly releasing the right leg. Inhale, extending out and up through the left. So the left hip still resting on either the forearm or mat. The toes relaxed, breath relaxed, and the head and neck relaxed. And exhale, releasing the left leg, head to opposite ear for a comfortable neck stretch. Preparing for the full pose, returning the chin to the mat, curling the toes under, arms still deeply under the body. As you press the weight from the toes into the torso, keeping it there by pressing the forearms towards the feet and lifting both legs up and off the mat. The more you press the forearms towards the feet, the higher the legs will go. There shouldn't be any discomfort at the low spine. And exhale, releasing the legs, the arms from under the body, Bring the palms to the mat, pressing to come up and onto your back. Simply flipping over is fine. And bring the knees into the chest. So bring the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms head to the knees for gentle belly squeeze. And as you release the head, taking the feet in either hands for happy baby pose. Ankles, knees align. Drawing the hands, knees maybe a bit closer to the mat. Should be no pulling at the hamstring insertions. Maybe gently rocking it side to side. As you release, we'll bring it to figure 4 pose. So right ankle to left knee, threading the hands behind the left thigh, drawing the hands inward with the elbow gently outward away from the body. And releasing the hands, preparing for reclining eagle twist. So the right leg once or twice over the left. Scooting the hips to the right, knees to the left. The arms wide and gazing over the right shoulder. All of your attention, your focus to the breath. Even the spaces between the breath. And inhaling slowly back to center. Unraveling the legs, squaring the hips, preparing for figure 4. So drawing the left knee into the chest, left ankle to right knee, while drawing the hands gently inward, the left elbow out away from the body. Perhaps finding that sweet spot by moving the right thigh either to the right or left. The smallest adjustment can bring the greatest release. And the next exhalation, releasing, preparing for reclining eagle, left leg once or twice over the right, scooting the hips the opposite direction of the twist, and gazing over the left shoulder. Depending on your flexibility, you can simplify these twists by not interlacing and simply bending the knees and ankles together, but still offsetting the hips. Ideally, the thighs 90 degrees to the torso. And inhale, coming back to center. Unraveling the legs. And if your body's calling for remaining pose, now is the time. Otherwise, Perhaps coming to corpse pose, typically laying on your back, the arms and legs extended, the palms upturned, allowing the shoulder blades to soften. And perhaps returning to your original intention you've created for your personal practice today, or offering. Incorporating that awareness of your intention to the breath. As you inhale, expanding from heart center outward to the periphery of the skin. And exhaling back to the heart or light. Breathing that intention to all the cells throughout our bodies. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. And may all of our thoughts, words, and actions contribute to the peace and freedom for all beings. All beings. And slowly awakening the body, wiggling the fingers, the toes. Maybe bending the knees, arms lifted. And in your own time, finding your way onto your right side into fetus for a few moments. An offering from the Golden Present by Swami Satchidananda, founder of Integral Yoga as well as Yogaville in Virginia or Heaven on Earth. Otherwise, how can you prove yourself? Put yourself in the hands of the higher force. You cannot do everything by yourself. If you believe in God, if you trust God wholeheartedly, even your sickness will go away because you are putting yourself in the hands of a more powerful doctor. Difficult situations come to give us a chance to prove that we trust in a higher energy. Otherwise, how can you ever prove yourself? When everything goes smoothly, you're all good devotees, no doubt. But you really prove it when everything is shaking and still you are able to say, it doesn't matter. Even if I lose everything, I am not going to lose this faith. Once you prove that, then everything that was lost will come back to you. That needs tremendous faith. Without faith, no one can become a spiritual seeker. And in your own time, finding your way to a comfortable seat. Inhaling for 3 ohms. Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Peace, peace, peace. Salutations to that remover of obstacles that lives within us all. Thank you, holy beings. Anita, Richard, thank you, everybody out there. And have a beautiful day. You deserve nothing less.